doing launch and doing the right things. When we can share this knowledge, so I can see that all of the values in the society we can maintain and keep keep that values. When I take this knowledge to share in the company, I'm grateful for I'm grateful for the chance to share in the company because I see that many people when they receive this knowledge they really emotionally touched. Some of them also burst into tears, and because of the precious knowledge that they receive. And today I really happy to have this chance to share all of the lessons with everyone. And when I hearing many brother and sister sharing and share the 9 words to cô Vũ Phương, I'm so proud and also also in my hometown Hải Phòng we have a song. And there is a sentence in the song that is Hải Phòng is really brave and raise the heads to liberate the nation, the Vietnamese people, and I am so proud to learn and to receive the knowledge that cô Vũ Phương sharing with all of us. Cô Vũ Phương said that thank you so much for all brother and sister in the Zoom already set the time to listen to the sharing from An Sơn. I glad to cô Vũ Phương, I'm glad to share another. Chặt lại. To, kéo, nè, cười lên nào. And he also shared with us another poem that for the woman, so you just need to maintain your gentleness. And I just recall the sentence that I hear from my friend. He's also a doctoral. And thank you cô Vũ Phương and thank you everyone. Xoay cái bàn tay của mình thẳng lên. Cô lên now you can hear cô Vũ Phương.
Thank you. And appreciate the whole house. Lots of inquiries, lots of stories. We're getting from Anson and all the hands here. Up to today with the Measure 7, we've gone past a lot of courses now on marriage and family. Yeah, people's experiences is there's a lot of experiences, and it's it's not by chance that we are here, but it was just when it comes down, it's to it that it's from one thing that's sort of breed into others, and when we look at people and stories, then there's a lot of stories. But if we were to come back together, then I have one belief that for those of you who are here, whether you have or without, whether you have or haven't learned this knowledge, each person, we all have stories and we have questions individually, not dependent on who we are, but we all have stories. But what I really appreciate when coming into this community is the environment. People don't need to be taught to mature, but people just need to be reminded to mature. And reminding isn't from telling each other or listen to the person talk or share, but sharing or reminding in appropriate situation. Only then can we remind each other. And if in a situation where everything is just normal, then and telling may not be reminding. And so through sharing, I realized this. We want to help people. Yeah, we want to help people. What's important is to be in the right situation, to have the opportunity to remind them. Yeah, to remind them of the good things coming. Sometimes we can't even create the opportunities, but in our karma, in our total karmic condition, that people need to come past us so that we can realize and we can be reminded. So it doesn't mean that we're in a class that we can be reminded, but listening. So sometimes in a normal general environment that we are hearing the knowledge that we will take it, but in an environment, in a situation where there's an opportunity and we are reminded, then we receive it. So we cannot have control over every situation, but we can have the ownership. We can be the leader or master of our own inner being. So we cannot, never can we control a situation, but we can have the maturity from within, and through opportunities. It doesn't matter which opportunity, whether at a dinner table or on the street or anywhere, whether the person is good at speaking or not good at speaking. But it is in that situation with that opportunity, can we then be reminded to mature? Yeah. So it's not dependent on whether that person has to be the teacher or someone that is in charge of that, but it is dependent on the situation. Yeah. So with the situation, it will allow us to recognize our mentality. So only through opportunities and situations, the natural opportunities, can then remind us of the things that we have accumulated, remind us that we have the different levels of maturity. Otherwise, we may listen, we may hear, and we may think it's really always amazing, but it doesn't mean that we will have transformation. And so from what we have here is based on creating the situation for people to an opportunity for people to be reminded. Therefore, based on situations where people come and the different situations, then we will recognize the things that we've learned and the things that we have that we can remember. Thank you, everyone. Yes, it's all the experience and trial. Today is the last part, and this is why we have a lot of our hands. But because it is the last one, so I want to talk as well. Why is this? She's searching. Someone says tomorrow, Saturday, we can continue learning. But she says tomorrow you have the on-site practice sharing. So we have a few people here in the process of our So we're going to continue to share, okay? So that you can be satisfied. But today we're going to continue with this what is it? Creating material wealth. It will cover everything that we've been learning. So just like be free to share, and if whatever that you are impressed with or what lessons you've learned or realized, please turn on your microphone and you can be free to share. So may I please continue to share the keys that so that if I can activate something for our class, the key that for the couples that people leave or separate in a marriage is the state of the obvious or taking things for granted. And so my connector we did a course of leadership together, and he says, you have to come in, and then he turns on the link for me to listen to. But then after I listened, I was like, oh wow, it's pretty impressive. And he says, and he didn't tell me anything. He just says, come in and learn it. Learn it so we can share it. Thank you, Anson. So I'm going to draw the house. So if it is convenient, then please draw with me. So share so I'm just going to draw the house again, I think. Yeah, so can you all see mine? Yep, thanks, Ron. So we're going to draw the house. The house. I think we need to draw from the bottom, the base, the foundation. So the house, it has four parts. Four parts. This is the soft part. Oh no, the foundation, which is the inner being. And on the left is our health. And here is relationship. I'm going to write this way. Yeah. And on top, the roof is our finance. And in order to make this house nice and bright, we will be bringing in the light. We will bring in the light. And we will turn on the 7 lights of this house. The first one we will turn on is the light of wisdom. The first light to turn on is the light of wisdom. And there are 5 levels of awareness corresponding to 5 levels of wisdom. There are 5 levels of awareness corresponding to 5 levels of wisdom. So the light of wisdom is the first one we light. The second one that we need to turn on is the light of mentality. Mentality, and in other words, is to enrich our mentality. Next is number 3, character. Our light of character, so that we can keep the conditions or the connections in our life. Number 4 is the light of virtue. here, if we can light up here, if we can light this up, we've lit up more than 50% of our house. Enrich our wisdom, our mentality, and enrich our character and enrich our virtue. Here, we've reached 50% of our life. And then we'll turn on the light of competency. See? And then physical health. And then finally is our material wealth. 7 light to brighten up this house. And all the problems in our house and our life, all that we will observe that all the problems with finance, it doesn't ever start with finance, but it's often most of the problems come from health. That we don't have enough health to do the work to attract money. And in particular, it starts from the inner being, that our inner being doesn't have that fulfillment yet. So we're always looking out, from what's outside. And in order to solve this problem is of creating the material wealth. Our house needs the roof, but in order to have the roof, whether we can keep the roof is dependent on how firm, how strong our foundation is. And also the walls of the house. So we're to look at what can help us to support with our material wealth. We often cannot find one, but like directly, But if finance isn't good, then health or relationship has issues, If health isn't good, may come from the inner being, and if the inner being is not good, health's not good, and finance is not good, then relationships will have issues, Relationship and inner being and health is not. The relationship and finance and health doesn't. That will affect the other. They all interlinked. And once we learn that we realize that the thing that we need to deal with is maybe our health and our inner being relationships. But it doesn't and the issues doesn't come directly from solving a problem with money. And therefore in Eastern medicine, so in March you get to learn that there's always a way of thinking, a mindset that the complication of a problem, then we need to deal with it indirectly. When the issues that we have an issue with the inner being, and we deal with the inner being only, then that won't solve the problem. We may have to deal with our health. We need to sort out our health, and therefore people who have finance, but inside the inner being feels empty and it doesn't have so it has we have all the issues, then so all the problems that are complicated, then we need to deal with indirectly. So in the Eastern medicine, with problems, the complicated problems, we need to deal with indirectly. So if finance is good, and if health and inner being and relationship is good, then finance is good. But if we create wealth, and then we come and say, okay, I need to enhance my health, and I need to have all the good relationship in life. So complicated problems the complicated problems we need to deal with indirectly. And then finance needs to come from health, inner being, and relationship. And then afterwards, working in the business, and we always think, oh, people, the workers are always just focused on their recognitions and their own benefit. And then we realize, oh, we need to deal with the inner being and their relationship in the social relationship. That, or if we just give them money, it doesn't really help with the lack inside them. So when we in a place where we focus only on finance, then classes on inner being or understanding health is important. So a complicated problem needs to be dealt with indirectly. So we look at, oh, up to this point, how come I'm really impressed with this journey. And up to here, I've realized, oh, I really treasure my time that I put in for this journey. Therefore, creating material wealth, where will it start from? It will start with the indirect places. Yeah, indirect places. So the first step for this formula, step one in this formula is step one is to phi vật chất bản thân. Non-materialize ourselves. So what does this mean, non-materialized selves? Is to light up the light of wisdom, the light of mentality, light of character, and light of virtue. These are the four lights in the first four lights in the house of holistic wealth. Yeah, these are the indirectly through wisdom, mentality, character, and virtue. Those will help us to enrich those areas: inner being, health, finance, and relationship. That is the first step we need to perfect. So we're going to focus on that non-material value. Yeah, non-material value. Wisdom, mentality, character, and virtue. And this formula is heading to that, creating that material wealth, not the general way, but it is heading towards a lot of wealth. Yeah, a lot of wealth and sustainable. So it's not just to get by, or it's not just to accumulate, but for it to last through generations. Yeah, for it to last sustainable and scalable, and it can last over time, like favorable. Yeah. So yeah, the ability to have control over our inner state. Yeah. So therefore the first step for us to work on our competency, then it comes from the person who is able to non-materialize themselves. Yeah. Can we access inner peace? can we recognize the lessons in an adversity? So the first thing to do is to non-materialize ourselves. Yeah. And in this group here, in the class here, and we can't even be patient to sit and listen, then how can we go out into the world and listen so that we can see the opportunity in every moment? Therefore, in the virtue of wisdom, we can actually listen from deep within them. And from there, we can see the opportunity so that we can exchange with them our solution so that we can materialize or create value. So if people in the house we can't listen to, how can we then listen to others, even our husband, our wife? And therefore, first, it needs to come from our non-material values. When does it start with us? When does life begin with me? And when do we hang on to the what's right, what's wrong? Do we know when to access tolerance, when to have honoring gratitude? Yeah, and have trustworthy, when to keep the time, keep our commitment, take our responsibility, have accountability. All that will come from non-materializing self. And then we would need to come to express that through the middle value, and that is through virtue, so that we can make and then we can bring it into material. And therefore, with us here, with the time that we invest in our learning here, that after a while we learn and we don't make any money. Yeah. It's not true. Even in finance classes, it is still addressing the non-materializing the self. So step one is non-materializing self through wisdom, mentality, character, virtue. And therefore all the programs in which doesn't reserve for people who come here to make money, but it's reserved for people who come here to make a lot of money and to have them sustainable, and not for people who just want to have inner peace, but it's for people to find that who is after the balance of the non-material and material. Yeah, it is the formula for everyone, for people who are after the non-material as well as material. So people who only want to look for that inner peace and meditation, it may not be the right environment for them. So non-material and material. So first, to create the material wealth, we have to spend time non-materializing ourselves. 8 months learning this. We've got to learn it first, and then we go outside and create our wealth. So, but if we are internally, we still have resentment and blame, and we get angry, and we cannot let go, don't start doing anything. We still need to turn around and do the first step, and that is to non-materialize the self. Step one. Step one. Step number two, it can go parallel with step one. Step two is to, and you can do this parallel with while we're non-materializing ourselves, is to enrich our physical health. Enrich material health. And so here, anyone who's confident can share this for the question. Why is enriching material wealth appear in this formula? Okay, your answer needs to flow with principles and laws. Yeah, with the universal principles and the natural laws. Okay, so we are going to reason. We're going to reason based on cause. Okay, we all know the obvious that if we have health, we can create money, but it's got to be in line with the cause and principle and law. So what do we think in our house? Yeah.